Welcome to the Life in Focus podcast. It's brought to you through Rogers Research Global with your host, clinical psychologist, Dr. Marie Rogers.
Hello and welcome to today's episode. This is Your Life in Focus. Today I'd like to talk about how to power up your focus. Focused attention is the brain's ability to actively focus on a target stimulus or one thing without being distracted by other stimuli. I love this saying. If you are persistent, you will achieve it. If you are consistent, you will keep it. Focus is an important mental or cognitive skill. In short, it means directed attention. In our ever-growing complex and distracted world, our ability to focus is diminishing dramatically, and this is affecting learning and retention of material, deep thinking, and problem solving. These skills, among others, are collectively referred to as executive functioning. Think about it this way. We are constantly bombarded by interruptions throughout our day from notifications, pings, and vibrations coming from our digital devices. We can barely settle down and approach a task long enough before becoming interrupted. This consistent shift in attention is creating executive functioning fatigue, which in turn compromises our decision-making abilities. Often, our go-to strategy for enhancing our focus is to merely tell ourselves to focus, with the illusion that we can command ourselves into paying attention and concentrating. Unless the activity is incredibly interesting, we in all likelihood will need help in the application of focused attention. High performers in their respective fields have this down. They are committed to the process of honing their power of focus. By doing so, they're intentionally harnessing a wandering mind. They excelled because they were able to push through the tedious and repetitive basic drills to achieve mastery and ultimately focus. Telling ourselves to focus when our mind wanders is not an ineffective first step, but in and of itself, it rarely solves the focusing challenge. To leverage focusing, the following tools are offered. Minimize your distractions. Declutter and organize your workspace. Our brains operate better in an uncluttered and organized environment, as it helps to eliminate or drastically reduce visual distractions. If before you start working on something you clear your space, you will probably find that your ability to stay focused is enhanced. We want to have the fewest objects around that can potentially veer us away. Manage your digital notifications. Also, when you need to study or apply deep focused thinking, remove all possible interruptions. Whereas in the past, interrupters were typically family members or coworkers stopping by at inopportune times to ask questions or to chat, today's massive interrupters are our computers, our digital devices, or phones. Each and every time you divert your attention, even for a few seconds, to look at your phone, you will require minutes of refocusing time to get back to the task at hand. And these minutes add up. This back and forth shifting quickly tires the brain, and it will operate slower and slower with each sequential interruption. Try to work in preset increments of 30, 45, or 60 minutes before taking a break. During the break, you can go ahead and check your text messages or check your notifications or visit social media, but try to decide beforehand that I'm going to be working on this particular project for 30 minutes or for 45 minutes or for 60. Typically, you don't want it to go past 90 minutes because at that point, the brain will need a break. You want to keep it at below 90, but again, depending on the task, depending on what you're working on, maybe 30 minutes of focused attention is good enough. So decide that before you do what it is that you're doing, and then keep your checking things, the things that typically would be your interrupters, then go ahead and check those things then, and then return back to the task at hand. Again, deciding beforehand how long you're going to be working on this before you deviate your attention. Also, create a checklist. Our brains love checking things off. Create a checklist of things you'll need to do or take action on. Writing and planning on a sheet of paper in which you have the opportunity to check items off as they're completed is a powerful and unfortunately underutilized strategy for gaining clarity, getting things off the ground, and finishing assignments. Planning on paper is a powerful focusing tool. The next one is getting restorative sleep. Our modern world blurs the boundaries between day and night. A staggering and growing number of sleep-deprived and caffeine-infused individuals is resulting in hormonal imbalances, compromised immune systems, and executive functioning fatigue. Although research strongly supports that restorative sleep is vital for cognitive processes, such as paying attention, focusing, and learning, most of us do not need sleep researchers telling us that. We know how we feel after a night of rest, and we know how we feel when we don't get enough sleep. Add a few consecutive days in a row of poor sleep, and you'll see how difficult it will be to pay attention and focus. Here are a few sleep tips. Your bedroom should be cool and dark and free from distracting noise and devices. Some find white noise or background sounds of nature soothing. Establish a relaxing bedtime routine. A nightly meditation practice, such as yoga nidra, can do wonders for stress management and help you feel calm and serene, actually help you fall asleep faster. Dim the lights and gradually remove yourself from screens and the lights that are coming from these devices and your electronics. Also, attempt to go to bed and wake up at the same time each day. Another tip is to power your mind and your body. A healthy diet has positive effects on mental health and executive functioning. If you are already in the habit of eating real food, mostly plant-based, and within reasonable caloric portions, then continue. If not, then this may be a good time to reevaluate your diet and make changes that are best for you. Dietary supplementation may be helpful, and this is individual to each person's specific needs. Avoid overly processed foods and sugar. Both can spike levels of fatigue that will ultimately affect your powers of concentration. Enjoy coffee, but be mindful of its effects on your body. Whereas caffeine is a globally enjoyed stimulant with well-documented cognitive enhancing properties, its use must be determined on an individual basis. What's great for many is not appropriate for all. And hydrate. Keep your energy levels humming by drinking plenty of water. If flavoring your water will help you to drink more, then add lemon, mint, and/or cucumber. And there is no scarcity of studies showing a positive correlation between engaging in moderate exercise and improving cognitive functioning. The minimum requirement is 150 minutes per week. The exercise regimen should include cardio, weightlifting, and stretching for optimal benefits. Exercise releases endorphins, which trigger a positive feeling in the body that typically lasts for most of the day. This good feeling helps to mitigate the effects of stress, which, when chronic, decrease attention span and focusing. With the application of these tips, you should find an increase in your attention span and focus. Keep in mind, that which has your attention will grow. It will expand. Pay attention to what you're paying attention to, because your life will move in the direction of your directed thoughts, basically, your focus.
The information presented is intended for general knowledge and is not a substitute for medical advice or treatment. As with most things in life, there isn't a magic pill or cure-all, but there are strategies to help regain control of your life. If you'd like to read or learn more about today's and other related topics, please visit drmarierogers.blogspot.com.